Arrogance is a trait or behavior characterized by an exaggerated sense of self-importance, superiority, and pride. Arrogant individuals often overestimate their abilities, accomplishments, or status and belittle or dismiss others' opinions, achievements, or worth. They may also be perceived as haughty, boastful, conceited, and self-centered. Arrogance is generally considered a negative trait as it can lead to conflict, resentment, and social isolation. So this is something that I searched up on Google, extremely accurate. So this says that the part where they say arrogant individuals often overestimate their ability. We'll touch upon this. So this means that, let's use chess. So my friend is arrogant in chess. Okay, so let's say his chess level is right here. When you overestimate your skill, you believe that your skill set is here, that your skill is so much higher than your actual skill. And underestimating your skill is you believing, you knowing that you're here, but you're underestimating, so now you lower down of what you're truly capable of. In both realms, you're a little too high or a little too low. A true sense of humbleness, people get this wrong. People say humbleness is all about, you might be here, but you humble yourself. No, no, no. This is not humbleness. This is just, they call this is false sense of humbleness. Humbleness is when you are here, you don't lower yourself down, or you don't bring yourself high up there. You are on ground. You don't elevate yourself or you don't lower yourself. You understand what you're capable of, and you're acting in accordance to what you believe yourself to actually be in your skill level. So you're actually neutral. So you're basically on ground. Your feet is on the ground, but it's looking at the stars, which means your vision. Your feet is planted firmly on the ground, but your mind, your eyes are looking straight at the stars, straight at the vision. That is what it truly means to be humble. And I would say that in my calisthenics training, one thing for sure to be taken away is that I can do 30 push-ups. I can easily say that I can do 60 push-ups, but like half of those push-ups is me being extremely lazy with the form. Because when you're doing calisthenics training, first most important factor is the way you do your push-ups. For example, if you do your push-ups and your back is not straight and it's like going bent, this means that your core, your stomach, is not strong, it's weak. There's a reason why you bent, and I can see that many times in myself. Alhamdulillah, I have a very strong body and strong mind, so I can push myself through the pain and discomfort. It's more about knowledge. When you're able to read books and you contain and you shape this knowledge in a way that comes useful to you, this helps you a lot in training, because training is a part of training is you actually seeking the knowledge and then you applying the knowledge. So form is extremely important in calisthenics training. And when you do calisthenics training, I used to feel arrogant. This is where I use the word arrogant, and I felt arrogant because I'm not able to do 60 push-ups. But arrogance stems from ignorance. Ignorance and arrogance finishes with the same ending, gens. Arrogance, ignorance. It finishes with an ins, not against. Ins. Okay. So when someone's feeling arrogant, that means they are ignorant of their weaknesses. Because as I said, arrogant people, they feel so confident. They feel, it's not even confidence, I can't even use that word. It's not even absolute certainty, it's past that. They think of themselves not human, and they're able to perfectly portray that they're so superior that they don't even see you anywhere in the ranking. This is to be said that arrogance is when someone doesn't acknowledge their weakness. This is how I define arrogance. Arrogance is simply someone who cannot acknowledge his own weakness. And to add upon that is someone who belittle others. But if you're not able to see your own weakness, then that's you being arrogant. Because we as humans have lots of mistakes. We are not perfect. Anyone who says they're perfect, please don't take any of his advice. Because I myself, I'm not perfect. So when I did calisthenics training, 60 push-ups, arrogance used to be the thing. This arrogance stemmed from ignorance. The reason why it stemmed from ignorance is because part of my training was collecting knowledge, but I've never done it. I just hopped on my calisthenics training, doing 60 push-ups, and just keep doing it every single time. Biggest regret is that the way I used my time was extremely not good. I didn't and spend my time about 1 week trying to get the knowledge. Now I spent an adequate amount of time with seeking knowledge. Now I'm placing in the knowledge in practice. So now I realize that when I do these 60 push-ups, I don't do it perfectly. And what matters is the quality and not the quantity. When you're doing push-ups, you must do it your body must be straight in a line. If you do it wrong, and if you have your hips sagging, if you have your hips, like let's say this is your hips right here, and it's kind of like bending down, and you're starting to have like a straight back, that means that your core, your stomach is weak. And when your core and stomach is weak, that means you need some improvement. And the way you improve is by correcting that form, by having, you can have it a little bit extended or a little bit, or you can do it perfectly straight. It doesn't matter. Uh, this is the problem. Because I was ignorant of the way I was doing push-ups, I felt like I was actually achieving when I was doing nothing but just exhausting my muscles and not causing any muscle growth. Nothing at all. Absolutely no benefits. So now I realize that push-up form, the way you do your push-up, is very important. When I started to learn that, it was the biggest arrogance killer. Now I can tell that I can always pass 20, but sometimes I could get 30, sometimes I can't. It's all depending on my motivation. And it's even hard to get to 20 push-ups, but I still am able to push it through. Like when I'm looking forward to training, I've never for example, the first 1-2 days of training, I'm so pumped up because I just feel so motivated. I just want to do it. But now it's just that I don't feel like doing it anymore because I'm just looking forward to pain. And who looks forward to pain? No one. But calisthenics training is all about delaying your gratification. So you sacrifice all the pleasures, for example, spending time on Discord, spending time on YouTube, and you put that in seeking knowledge and applying knowledge. It's seeking knowledge and applying knowledge. That's it. To seek strength means that you are very much willing to go through pain. And this means that pain can humble you. Weakness, understanding, acknowledging your weakness can humble you. My calisthenics training teach me a lot. Like when you train, you learn so much more about yourself you don't even know. You think this is an odd way to learn about yourself, but it's not. When someone's developing arrogance, physical training can teach them you're not as strong as you thought. You're really not as strong as you thought. Some people, they don't walk the talk. So they speak of something, but they don't walk the whole talk. Sometimes, like right now in gym class, I'm confident with absolute certainty that I'm better than others. Like it's a matter to not be talked about. It's you understand that when I enter this gym class, I don't really try. It's generally just like a pressure off my back. Is this being arrogant? Some people can perceive this as arrogant, but am I walking the talk when I'm saying I'm better than others? Am I walking the talk? Yes, you are. So you are just being humble. You're not overly displaying, you're not showing off your strength. You're just like, okay, I just believe I'm better than the rest. Nothing wrong with that. As I said, I'm not belittling others, but sometimes this can appear as arrogant, and some guys, they have huge egos, so they feel like I'm being arrogant. This is not arrogance, this is genuinely you thinking that you're good, right? And when I actually find someone of a worthy opponent to spend my energy on, I actually put in the work. But there's behaviors I display that after introspection, I can tell why people think I'm arrogant. It's me playing them at less effort. Like, I don't put much effort when I'm playing badminton against them, because when I'm really against someone playing badminton, I genuinely don't try it. Like, I'm doing some hits. I'm make sure I'm go slow on them because they're not so strong, right? I make sure that less effort. You could include boredom. I display boredom a lot more because I genuinely feel bored when I'm playing. So I guess this could also be a factor. And last one could be counted. It's less to zero eye contact. Like, I don't really give much eye contact. Eye contact is seen as something of strength. Like, if you give eye contact of the proper amount, it perceives you as more confident. Yes, 100%. But when you're also not giving eye contact, it also could signal other things. Depending, your eye contact follows your body. If your body is very like small and you're giving very small eye contact, then we can tell that you're not very confident. But let's say you have your back straight and you're just not giving eye contact. This could just seems you're bored. You just don't seem you seem bored. The other person is not that big of a threat, because eye contact is given when something is a threat or something, or it might generally not even be that. I'm just talking about in a confrontational context. If you don't give eye contact to a person, it could mean that you don't see him as a threat, or it's just that you're just bored. You just don't want to be here. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. If you can walk the talk, that's not being arrogant. And I believe that progress can make you arrogant. I do believe that there's an arrogance trap in self-improvement, and the arrogance trap in self-improvement is when you believe you're better than the rest, when in actuality you have never taken the real step to actually proving yourself you're better than the rest. Because in my gym class, I'm better than the rest, and I've already proven it to everybody. So I don't even have to speak; they probably know already. Like, the way I conduct myself, it's very simple. Even the teacher called me cocky. Is this a very good thing? No, I don't want to be perceived as cocky. But it's all to say this was my past, so this is like my past now. My past, I used to be a little bit egotistical because the gym and everything, but now I'm more calm and centered, and I still don't do much. I just like to talk to my friends and everything. I don't like to play much. I still like to play. Just I don't like to play with people who are not on my skill level, because I don't like to be perceived as arrogant in some sense. So when I'm playing with someone who is at my level somewhat, just this is one individual who I deemed to be somewhat of a strong individual, I play him most of the time. And even if I don't talk to him, I just say, "Do you want to play it?" And he's gonna accept it. Now, lastly, I want to touch upon, can arrogance be productive? Okay, the reason why I'll never advocate arrogance is that my religion is Islam. I follow this religion head to toe. Like, I'm absolutely a Muslim that will follow and will move mountains just for Allah. And that being said, arrogance is what caused Iblis, who was a high-ranking angel, fell down from Allah's. He fell down from the heavens. Like, he's no longer in heaven. He's in hell. He's fire. He fell down because he refused to accept Adam alayhi salam, the first human being, as a great creation. When God told him to prostrate, he didn't prostrate, and he did that out of arrogance. He believed that he was much more superior than him. So that's the reason why I will not bring arrogance, and arrogance itself has a very negative connotation. I like to use the word absolute certainty, not arrogance. Absolute certainty. Arrogance sounds cool and all that, but absolute certainty is just like a word that's better used. So, can arrogance really be productive? So, to hold that ego means that you need to constantly work hard so that you can prove yourself, prove to others that you have the right to belittle others, that you have the right to feel arrogant. That's the only, out of my own experience, that could make arrogance productive. It makes you work hard so that you can prove your ego, that you have the right to feel arrogant, because as a past arrogant individual, like I know what it means to feel arrogant. Oh, I never really trash talk, but I like to put some pressure, put some heat on the person. Maybe say, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that?" Just out of a place of I'm better than you. But I never like usually trash talk. I'm saying, "Well, what is this?" Like complain. I usually complain a lot, or just show like I don't really care about you, or some stuff. I really regret that. Like did this. Yeah, I really regret that. Yeah. So this doesn't, just because I said arrogance can be productive doesn't mean that this gives you the incentive to feel arrogant. It's just a thing that I've observed myself through introspection, because I love to journal. So I was just thinking about this like yesterday. So now I can perfectly tell that arrogance has some productive side about it, but this is not absolute what I want to portray. Arrogance is not a good thing. Absolute disgusting. Don't be arrogant. Move with absolute certainty. Absolute certainty is allowed. There's a fine line between absolute certainty and arrogance. Absolute certainty is when you can walk the walk. When you can walk the talk. You say something, you're able to prove it. Arrogance is when you can't walk the talk. You say something, but you can't really prove anything. That's arrogance. And that's the difference between arrogance and absolute certainty. And I always love to move with absolute certainty. When you have something in mind, you believe in it. For example, absolute certainty, it portrays in the littlest of things. For example, if you believe that you're right, if you see like your whole class is going one direction, but you're going in an opposite direction, believing that this is the right direction, this signals into other people's mind. Even if you were wrong, even if that was embarrassing, people know that you're extremely confident and driven. Like even in the smallest of behaviors, you can tell that someone is extremely confident. So that being said, this is me explaining the difference between arrogance and absolute certainty. Arrogance is you can't walk the talk, and absolute certainty is when you can walk the walk. Hmm. And this would also imply that if you believe that you're better than others and you're able to back it up, that is still absolute certainty. Even if it means that you say to someone, "I'm better than you." Is that true? Is that factual? If that's true, absolute certainty. This is don't get that notion in your head where you're like, no, stop being arrogant. Is that true? If it's true, so do not argue with it because it's true. Is he stronger than you? And if you're saying directly at you that I'm stronger than you, don't challenge me. That's true. Well, suck it up, big boy. Big boy, this is true. So that being said, thank you for listening. Make sure to drop a sub, comment what you believe arrogance and absolute certainty to mean, that what that means to you. Probably gonna have some responses, you know what I mean? But always move with absolute certainty, because strength means you are in a state of independence. Because when you have strength, I actually wrote it somewhere. Hold up. I was journaling about this, and it would be a very beautiful thing to say today. Where is it? Okay. So I wrote like a whole paragraph. I'm not gonna say that. I'll say one line that I wrote that I believe that should be said, because I love to journal. So this is part of the thing. Strength erases problems. It clears out the road. It helps your family, friends, and your community. Extreme actions create extreme results. Hardship breeds strength. Okay, I'll say it in like another sentence from this. Stay far from weakness and surpass your limits. Never settle with the norm, with mediocrity. The past is the path, all is with Allah. The future is the future, all is with Allah. Worship Him as He deserves to be worshipped. This is what I wrote. I wrote like very personal stuff on that, and I don't like to disclose that. But this is something that is widely accepted. Widely accepted. Always seek strength so that you can be in a state of independence. Always be in a state of independence. Never settle with weakness. Like, you should stay far from weakness. Allah wants you to be strong. Since when does Allah want you to suffer? Allah gives you tests, not to make you suffer, but to see your reactions to your test. Make sure that strength means you are independent. That's the only reason why I advocate strength. Strength is so you can be independent. Independence is something that I want you to have because I care about you. Independence, understand that independence is a huge thing, and it's a whole topic on its own. On its own. So that being said, make sure you sub, make sure you comment. Very long video, 20 minutes. I'm probably gonna cut it down, and if I won't, well, 20 minutes there. Thanks a lot. That's the difference between arrogance and absolute certainty. Thank you. Salam.